Well, first of all, I'm just grateful and humbled by the amazing response from the people in the Republican Party throughout this district, and I'm just happy that they want me to represent them in the November election and as our next state senator.
What are some of the biggest things that you saw? I saw you had a Facebook post about all the miles you put on your vehicle as you traveled across the district. I guess, first of all, why do that?
Well, my background is in business. I started my own business, and I was able to do business with some pretty big names in the hospitality industry very early on in my career. And that's because, whether it was getting in the car and driving or getting on an airplane, I was there to meet with those folks face to face. And I still believe that that's the best way to make contact with anybody. I'm a big believer that, shaking someone's hand and listening to what their needs are is the best way for me to earn their respect and earn their vote.
And when out and about, earning those miles to your vehicle, what did you learn?
I learned that across this district, even though we are a diverse district, that we are really very much the same. Our challenges are the same, our hopes are the same, and certainly the feelings on what's happening in Albany is very much the same. So I learned a lot about the specific areas and what their assets are, what their hopes are, but at the same time I also learned that we are galvanized in our beliefs, and I will fight hard for our beliefs and our principles in Albany.
What do you have to say to your opponent?
I hope that we can bring the Republican Party together because now is an important time for us. So what's going on is in Albany is unprecedented, and it is completely against our shared conservative values and our Republican values. And I hope that my opponent can now join me in our fight to win and go to Albany.
There's a lot of support we've seen across the area for Austin Morgan, who is a very, very young Democratic candidate. Kudos to him for throwing his hat in. But for you have a lot of experience, both in business, some in politics, but a lot in life. Is that what you're going to kind of hang out there to say to the middle of the road voter now, hey, I have that experience compared to Morgan, or is there something else?
Well, first of all, I appreciate his, his idealism. I was the same way when I was his age. But the bottom line is that I think the reason that we have one of the worst states to do business in the nation is because most of the people in Albany, whether they're elected officials or bureaucrats, have no idea what it means to have to deal with the crushing regulations and taxes that they impose on us. For me, I've dealt with it. I still deal with it as a business owner here in New York State. I understand what it means to have to make a payroll. I understand what it means to have to deal with those oppressive regulations. And until you do that, until you carry that in your heart every day, I don't believe you can be an effective representative for this district.
And you already have a plan that if elected, you would roll out to help businesses, right?
Yes, we did something, we introduced the first employee tax credit. As someone who started his own business and I was the only employee, I know how difficult it is to jump to that first employee. The costs go up exponentially. It's very difficult and very expensive, especially here in New York State. So the first employee tax credit is about giving a temporary tax credit to those who are going to bring on their first employee so that they can do it, so that they can grow their businesses, because that's what I heard from so many small businesses and independent operators is that I have more business than I can handle, but I can't afford to put the money up front to hire another person. So this is about giving those people a step up so that they can hire someone else, so that they can grow their business. And this comes from my own personal experience as someone who started his own business.
And finally, back to this evening, what do you have to say to the voters who threw their support behind you and I would assume continue to support you as you head to this fall?
It's two very simple words: thank you. Thank you very much for all your support. Chautauqua County, Cattaraugus County, all the counties in this district, and did well in Livingston and in Allegheny as well. All those folks, we are all pulling on the same rope. And I want to say thank you very much for those of you that have voted for me. For those of you that have not, I hope to earn your respect going forward. But the biggest thank you has to go to my wife, Kelly, who has dealt with this every step of the way, and appreciate her support and love and everything else.
Awesome. Thank you for talking with us, and enjoy the evening.
Thanks.